Hello guys, welcome back. I'm gonna do a couple frame makeovers on today's video. So these are actually chalkboards, but I'm just gonna go ahead and cover the chalkboard with some cardstock from a Tim Holtz pack. I'm gonna go ahead and do that by using some spray adhesive. I'm gonna go ahead and spray that back, and I'm gonna put that cardstock right over that. Then, as always, I'm going to go ahead and use my Distress Oxide just to make this look a little bit more aged. And just to tone down the gold a bit on this frame, I'm going to go in with some Waverly Antique Wax. And I do wipe that back almost immediately after painting it on. I really wanted to just sit in all those details and little crevices. So I'm going to go ahead and add my cardboard back in and just add little dabs of glue on the corners and put the backing back on. And I am going to use one of these little skeletons off of a Dollar Tree garland, and these little skeletons are not bendable. I do kind of just force it into place. I want it to sit on the frame, and then I just go over that with some antique wax to cover up where it kind of looks like it's cracked, but it still stays intact. And I do end up going over the whole skeleton with some antique wax. Then I'm just going to add some hot glue and hot glue him to the corner of my frame. And I just kind of hold the little legs in place until the glue dries. And just to cover up all that glue, I do cover it up with some moss. Then I had these little sticker bats that I'm going to add to the top. These were originally from Hobby Lobby, but as we all know, Hobby Lobby doesn't sell Halloween anymore, but I'm pretty sure you can find some like on Amazon or something. They were stickers, but the ones on the outside of the frame, I do add a little bit of hot glue just to make sure that they don't fall off. And that is basically it for this one. Super easy. Let me know what you guys think. And this next one is super easy as well. I just picked up another frame exactly like the one I did in the previous DIY. And I'm going to use these napkins also picked up from the Dollar Tree. And these are 2-ply napkins, so I just removed the backing. So again, going in with my adhesive spray, I went ahead and sprayed the back of the frame. And I did use this brown part since I wasn't going to paint it white. And I'm just going to go ahead and add that napkin right on top of that glue. And I just decided to not paint it white because I am going for a more moody style. So I went ahead and just left it the color that it was. And I just went ahead and sanded off all the excess napkin using my sanding block. And then the next parts were pretty repetitive to the first DIY. This one I didn't add glue in case I want to change it out for the next season. And for this one, I'm also going to add some moss at the bottom of the frame. I did have that space where the napkin didn't reach, so I'm just going to go ahead and cover that up with some moss. And then I'm just going to add the little apothecary bottles that are also from the Dollar Tree. And these little bottles, I did buy them last year, but I did see them earlier this month at Dollar Tree as well. So if you find them, they're super cute and there's so many things you can do with them. So I'm just going to go ahead and place them in the corner of my frame, and then I decide that I want to add some little dry florals to the inside of the little bottles. And just to make it cohesive with my other little frame, I do decide to add the little bats to this one as well. So I go ahead and add my little dry florals, and that is basically it for this one. And for the next one, I did have a set of 3 butterflies that I just want to add into some frames. I am going to use a Dollar Tree canvas for this medium-sized frame here. So I'm basically going to spray my canvas with my adhesive spray, and I am using a piece of velvet fabric that I cut from some pants that I got at the Goodwill bins. And as I've mentioned before, if you are going to try this, I wouldn't recommend hot glue. Hot glue does show through the fabric. The adhesive spray just gives you a more cleaner look. So once I get my fabric attached to my canvas, I'm just going to go ahead and place that canvas right into the frame. And I will end up covering this back part with some brown paper. I just added some hot glue to the corners to hold the canvas in. So my butterflies didn't have any antennas, and I mean, I've always seen butterflies with antennas. So I'm just going to go ahead and add some using this wire. It is a pretty thick wire, so it does stand up like antennas. So I just go ahead and cut a piece and cross them over each other, and then I just go ahead and glue it behind that little wooden piece of the body of the butterfly. Then I'm just going to add some hot glue and attach that to the center of my frame. So for my other two butterflies, I'm not going to repeat the process. It's just repetitive. The only difference is that I did have a frame that I didn't have a canvas that fit into the frame. So I just took this Dollar Tree one and I went ahead and cut it down. If you have a straight edge and a good blade, all you have to do is keep running it over the canvas and eventually it'll just break in half. In case you ever have a frame that you don't have a backing to, I just think that this is an easy way to add the backing. Or you can use a cardboard as I've done before. I just wanted something a little bit sturdier for this one, so that's why I chose to cut the canvas. And the steps were the same as the previous frame, and here is the end result. Let me know what you guys think. So for this next one, I think it's the easiest one out of the 5 projects. I am going to use a transfer out of the IOD Fairy Mary book from last year's release. This frame did have the backing. I'm just going to go ahead and glue it back on when I'm done. But first off, I did cut out a piece of cardboard. I am going to add some glue using my glue stick here, and then I'm just going to attach or add this piece of cardstock to my cardboard. Then I'm just going to add my little fairy right on top of that cardstock. And here I'm just measuring that the frame is going to cover the top of the little mushroom. So I actually thought to myself that I should have attached the transfer before adding it to the cardboard. I just didn't want to have like little dips where I'm pushing down to add the transfer. But once I started to transfer it over to the cardstock, it comes off super easy. That is the nice thing about these IOD transfers. They transfer over super easy with hardly any effort. I guess I forgot because I was using the Dollar Tree ones, and the Dollar Tree ones do take a little bit more effort. As you can see here, I'm using my little tool and they come off super easy from the transfer sheet. It didn't make any dents or anything like that on the cardboard underneath. And once it is off my transfer sheet, I go ahead and use that same sheet just to varnish it, making sure that all the little pieces are attached to the cardstock and there is no lifts. So I glued the backing back on, and then I just added a little piece of poster board from Dollar Tree just to fill that space in the back. And that is basically it for this one. So for this next one, I did purchase this mirror at the Goodwill. I love the shape and the design. It's just the color is not my vibe. So I'm just going to go ahead and give it a makeover. And just an apology in advance. the light does show through the mirror. That's why I have it covered in some places. Hopefully I have it covered in most of the video so I don't blind you guys. So I do want to paint this with some Folk Art gold leaf paint, but first, to give it a good base, I am going to start with the color Crimson from Waverly Chalk Paint. Next, I want to go in with this color from Folk Art Paint. I will say that you have to let each coat dry in between coats. I was rushing it to get the video out and it was just smearing the paint all over the place, so take your time, let each coat dry thoroughly. And I did go in with some antique wax just to tone down the gold a little bit, but that is basically it for this one. It was a super easy flip with a little paint. It went a long way with this mirror. I feel like it did the total difference and it is now my vibe. So I haven't shared my booth here in a couple videos back, so I'm gonna go ahead and add some clips and you will see this mirror displayed here in my booth. If you are in the San Antonio area, we are located at the Craftiques Mall, located on Northwest Military Highway, in case y'all want to pay us a visit. And that is basically it for today's video. If you like what you see, please subscribe and follow for more, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.